Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about edge functions and everything that you need to know about edge functions. So recently, actually not recently, but in the few months, Flow actually introduced Superbase, and using Superbase actually you can uh, deploy edge functions. And because I'm going to actually convert all my cloud functions to edge functions, I just wanted to make this video before I talked about edge functions and how you can deploy edge functions. I want to make this video to explain you what is the edge functions. I will compare what you can use for the edge functions. I compare it what is the difference between an edge function and a cloud function, which is what is Superbase is actually using. And I will also talk about how you can deploy your first edge functions. And there is a lot that we have to cover in this today video. And if you are actually using uh, Firebase for your backend, I actually made a video about cloud functions, and the cloud functions is your way to go. So basically, if you're using Firebase, you're going to use cloud functions, but if you're going to use Superbase for your backend, probably the best choice is to use edge functions. And because I haven't talked anything about edge functions before, in none of my videos, and like I said, because I will talk in the future about edge functions, I wanted to do these introductions into edge functions and what is the edge functions and what you can use them, as I already said. And before I start, actually, I want to just thank you everyone for actually considering joining the paid subscription, or they have already paid for a membership in my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated. And also, if you just like this video, you can actually send me a thank you like with some amount wherever you want to. That would be much appreciated as well. So, like I said, thank you very much. And if you haven't actually joined my Discord channel, my ideas of the future videos are actually coming from Discord channel, from my Discord channel. If you have any questions so related to the videos, join the Discord channel, ask the question there, so I can provide you with demo code or something like that, or you can provide me with your code. And also, you can request what videos do you want me to feature. You can vote for the next video. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this today video. So let's talk first about what are edge functions in general. So for the disclaimer first, I'm sorry for my English, I'm not a native speaker. So if you want a video from a native speaker, please maybe search in YouTube for edge functions so you can know something, because there are a lot of videos so you can imagine about edge functions, but for the context, I'm talking about edge functions for the context of Superbase specifically, and for Flow to Flow, how it can actually like improve your project using Flow to Flow in the future. So my future videos will be using edge functions, and it will help you to improve your overall experience of your users. Like I will have in the future, I will have a video which I'm going to implement Stripe payments or Stripe subscriptions. I already have this video, but I will made it more efficient to use cloud functions when a new subscription is made or deleted, or an edge function. So that's why, like I said, I wanted to talk about edge functions. And so edge functions are a type of serverless computing deployed at the edge of a network. So what that means, edge of the network, that means that it's closer to the user, and it's using CDN servers that will actually be around when you deploy. And you're not deploying these edge functions to one particular place, you're actually deploying it to multiple servers around the world, so it will be closer to the user. So when the user wants to run this edge function, it will actually see what is the nearest server to the user, and it will run it from this server particular. And we're going to talk about the difference between the edge functions and cloud functions in Firebase, but this is one of the main difference. Like it is using actually the cloud one is using uh, like a specific server. Let's say that you are in the States or in Australia, it doesn't really matter. It will actually, you have to choose a server where your cloud functions will run from. But using edge functions, like I said, it will be deployed around the world using a CDNs, and then it will be distributed to the user which is closer to where the function is run from. Like I said, it's closer to the user rather than in centralized data center. They're used for. So let's talk. Actually, the first thing is let's talk about. So what are the edge functions used for? So this is like I said, this is my own research and experience. So if you want to research it further, please do. So it's about low latency. So by running the edge function closer to the users, they reduce latency in the web applications and in our case in the mobile applications as well. So we can say like mobile and web as well applications delivering faster response times. So there is actually a video in YouTube comparing the edge functions with the cloud functions, and edge functions it's actually running a little bit faster. That's like a fact. And then we have the scalability, automatically scale with the number of requests, handling traffic spikes efficiently. So that's something else that's a good for its functions as well. It's cost efficiently. You pay only for the resources used, making it cost efficient for fractioning workloads. And now if I switch to the edge functions and sorry to Superbase and look at the edge functions, you can actually see with the free tier of Superbase, you have up to 500K, which is half a million edge functions in Vulkans, which is actually, and I think this is monthly. Yeah, this should be monthly based. Uh, so it's quite a lot, actually. It's quite a lot. With the $25 per month, you have 2 millions, which is like 4 times, I think, more. Then yeah, this is the pricing of Superbase, because the whole idea is that you can actually execute or deploy edge functions not only from Superbase, but you can use some other frameworks as well, like mainly JavaScript frameworks to deploy edge functions. It's not just Superbase, but like I said, we're going to talk about Superbase here in this video. And then we have security, can be used to implement security policy at the network edge, like DOS protection or bot management. That's actually great as well. And then we have customization, tailor content delivery to users based on location and other criteria, enhance user experience. And then the last thing that I have written is sorry, processing the this decentralized, I can pronounce that, processing reduced the load on central servers and improving reliability. Another thing that it's not written over here, but I think it's important, is that it's using TypeScript. Actually, when you write uh, your functions, it's actually they it's actually using TypeScript. And TypeScript actually it's a similar, super similar to JavaScript. When you're writing your cloud functions, you need to use JavaScript. And recently, like a month or 2 months ago, Superbase added, sorry, Firebase added Python as well. Sorry, I'm just thinking what I want to say. So that's the difference as well between those two. But yeah, let's actually talk about what is the practical use of edge functions and when you want to use them. Okay, so let's talk about here are some practical use cases for the edge function. So I just named a few. Of course, there are a lot of them, but just like I said, those are just a few of them. So first of all, of course, there is the content personalization, customizing web or mobile or web content based on the user location, device type, or the browsing history to enhance user experience. Of course, this is for the flow particular. I don't think like this is like a super beneficial because you can already like specify if the user is using mobile or web, what is the location of the user. I don't know about the type of device, but probably you can do that as well. So this is not super relevant to the further flow context. And then we have the API gateway. So implementing an API gateway at the edge to identify and route API requests, improving security and reducing server loads. And so, talking about that, there is a great like improvement in your app if you know how to use edge functions to execute your API calls. And we're going to talk about a lot about that because there are some particular use cases that it's very good to use edge functions. Like for example, the most secure probably I would say the most. I'm not a security expert, but I would just say that the most one of the most secure ways of running your API calls will be through a function. It will be an edge function or cloud function. Doesn't really matter. We're talking about edge functions here. It's to through using edge functions. Why I'm saying that? Because it will be hidden in the background and people will not be able to see your authenticated keys or your keys in general. Because using it straight from through the flow and writing it in the API calls, your keys are actually exposed. I don't know if you know that, but your keys are exposed. And if someone opened the network tab, they will be able to see your key and then install it and then just use the key, right? So you don't want that. That's why you need to use a cloud function, or in this particular case, an edge function. And then we can move on. So you can use something like, you can use it like, generally, I think you can use it for anything that you can think of. Like I said, I just implement like a couple of things, but you can use it for a lot more, like anything that you can think of. And we have the image optimization, so automatically resize and optimize images for different devices directly at the edge, reducing broadband usage and improving load times. So if this is something that you want, you can do it with edge functions. You can do also A/B testing, conducting A/B testing by serving different version of your web page. Let's say I probably wrote it for web page, but yeah, it will be for mobile or web from the edge to various user segments. And then we have AOT data processing. So we have the processing data from IoT devices locally at the edge, reducing latency and broadband costs, accelerating with associated with sending all data to a central server. Then we have video streaming optimization, so adjusting video stream quality in real time based on the user network conditions to ensure smooth playback. Then we have the DOS protection, so implementing DOS migration strategies at the edge to absorb and diffuse attacks before they reach the core network. Then we have the CEO of the enhancement. So I think this particular one is for a web app more particularly, and dynamically modify web pages at the edge to improve SEO, like altering meta tags or structured data based on the content trends. Yes, you can basically do that as well for mobile if you want to, of course. And then we have the geo fencing, so improving the geo fencing to trigger specific actions or content delivery when users enter defined uh, geographical area. And then the last example in my examples is server side reduced So SSR rendering, sorry, server side rendering, SSR rendering web pages, or yeah, we can talk about mobile as well here. I think server side at the edge for faster delivery to the user, and providing performance for sites with dynamic content. So, of course, it will be not the whole page probably, but it will be a content of the page that you can have it on the edge. And like I said, those are just like a few demos. In my particular demo that I'm going to use, or use cases, in my particular use case, I'm going to use, for example, the edge functions to create a webhook, and creating a webhook will actually help me like connect it to, let's say, with Spotify, or with like connecting the dynamic link, or with Stripe. So when you have a Stripe subscription, it will connect it to the edge function, and it will change or modify your Superbase database. So this is what I'm going to use it like, mainly like modifying and working with my Superbase database when I'm using the edge. I haven't wrote that, but I think it's self-explanatory, so that's why probably I haven't wrote it. Great, so let's move on actually. Okay, so let's move actually this to a new page, and let's talk about the edge function and cloud functions, and what is the difference between the edge function and the cloud function. So edge function and cloud functions are both serverless computing models that they differ in their deployment locations and some key charters. So, for example, deployment location. So, the edge functions deploy at the edge of the network, closer to the end user, and this proximity reduce latency because the data doesn't have to travel far. And the cloud functions deployed in centralized data centers, which can be far from the end user, potentially increasing latency. So, what that means, like I said, if you're from the States, let's say, but you want to distribute your app around the world, you don't just want it to like distribute in the States. Let's say someone open your app from Japan or from Australia, let's say, or from the other round of the world. They will actually have more latency, or the loading time will be much greater than the one from the States, because it's just opening from the other side of the world. That's simply the fact. And then using, like it says over here, using the edge functions, this is actually solving this issue. And then we have the latency. So the edge functions generally offer lower latency due to their proximity to the user, and the cloud functions may have higher latency, especially for user far from the data center. So yeah, first is deployment. This is deployed around the world with the CDN network, and then, or the edge of the network, and then we have the latency, which we talked about, and then we have the use cases. So edge functions are due for real-time latency sensitive operations like content personalization, OOT data processing, and local data caching. And cloud functions are suited for tasks where latency is less critical, like batch processing, long-running compilation, sorry, and non-real-time data analysis. So, of course, like I said, this is my own like research. So don't take it like we just take it with a salt, or I don't know how what is the definition. But yeah, do your own research is what I'm trying to say. This is what is my research, is what I found out. And then we have stability. So both offer great stability, but the edge function can handle sudden spikes in localized traffic more efficiently. And then we have the data processing. Data processing edge functions better for decentralized data processing, reducing the load on central servers, and cloud functions are more suitable for centralized data processing tasks. Then you have the cost. So the cost is actually a relevant thing. Or I mean, let me show you again the cost. So Superbase has, like I said, uh, um, 500,000 uh, invocations, so 500,000 you can call an edge function for 500,000 like times, let's say. And then for the paid version, which is only $25 per month per organization, and this it will provide you 2 millions actually included uh, in invocations. Then of course we have the team plan, but it's super much expensive, and I think you have the unlimited. But we're going to compare about the free one and the pro one with Firebase Cloud Functions. So this is the Cloud Functions of Firebase, and what we have over here is that, so this is not applicable, which means that for sure you need to upgrade your plan to from Spark to Browse plan. If you don't upgrade it, so pay as you go, if you don't upgrade it, you will not be able to use Cloud Functions at all. So that's something that you need to know. And then you have until 2 millions, you have no cost. And then for every, so this is invocations, so it's basically the same thing as Superbase. And then for every 1 million, you have 40 cents. So regarding this, actually, Firebase actually it is cheaper running it with Firebase, but I'm not pretty sure about that, to be honest, because I have implemented some cloud functions. I don't know why it says like that, but I have implemented some cloud functions with Firebase, and the only time that I was paying for cloud functions, for Superbase, was because of my cloud functions, and I for sure haven't met these 2 millions per month. So I'm not really sure. It doesn't says over here, or at least I don't know if it says, or I cannot see it. But if you deploy a cloud function, maybe you're paying something. I'm not sure about it, but like I said, I have paid like a couple of cents, but a couple of cents here and there. It's about the cloud functions. So yeah, definitely do your own research. This is what my research ended up about the costs. And then security. So the edge functions can enhance security by processing data locally and reduce exposures to central systems. And the cloud functions centralized security policies need to be rusted, as there are more singular points of potential failure. And then the last thing is network traffic. So edge functions can reduce overall network traffic by enhancing by handling requests locally, and then cloud functions or traffic typically requires routes through the central data types, which can include overall network load. So basically, it's they're almost the same thing. Another thing that it's not, I have actually forgot to mention that it's the languages. So languages actually, edge functions, like I said, it's using to, based on my research at least, it's using TypeScript only. You cannot write in JavaScript or any other languages. Cloud functions are actually using JavaScript. So let me just write that. So it's JavaScript and also Python. So recently, like this is new, you can deploy from Python, but you cannot deploy Python from Flow. So, like, I would assume that 99% of the people will use actually JavaScript and not Python. But you have that option. I haven't tried it, to be honest, but you have that option now. Okay, so let's move on. So let's talk about Superbase and edge functions related to Superbase in regards of Superbase. So Superbase, is as you already know, probably is an open source alternative to Firebase, offers edge functions as part of their suite of features. In the context of Superbase, edge functions have several benefits. So enlarge performance, so since super base H functions are executed closer to the user, they significantly reduce latency. This particularly benefits for applications that require real-time interactions or faster response times. I don't have this scalability. Edge functions in Superbase scale automatically with the number of requests. This means that your application can handle sudden spikes in traffic without any additional configuration or infrastructure. And then we have the cost efficiency with the edge functions. You only pay for what you use. So yeah, it's like I said, you like I showed you in the pricing model. You pay if you have to pay, you have to pay from 2 millions requests per cloud function for edge function and below. And then you have the ease of deployment. Superbase provides a simple and developer-friendly environment. You can deploy edge functions without worrying about the underlying infrastructure, which simplifies the developer process. Then we have the integrated ecosystem, which is a super base over a range of tools, including the database authentication, real-time subscriptions, and storage. Edge functions seamlessly integrate with those services, allowing you to build more complex and reactive applications. Custom server-side logic, so you can run custom server-side logic code in response to events in your database, HTTP requests, or scheduled tasks. So like for example, if something changed in your database, you can run edge function, sorry, or you can modify your database based on an edge function, that if something is changing like a webhook or shadow tasks. There are a lot of people asking about shadow tasks, like sending a push notifications using shadow tasks as well. You can actually use edge functions to send a push notification. You can use both Firebase, get the FCM token, store it in your Superbase database, and then using a scheduled notification or scheduled task to send a notification um, using edge function instead of a cloud function. So if this is something actually that you are interested in, please let me know so I can create a video about that. This is useful for tasks that shouldn't or can be handled in the client, like sensitive compilations or operations require relevant permissions. Sorry, elevated permissions. And then we have the global distribution, of course. Super basic functions are distributed globally. This means your applications logic runs close to the user, no matter where you are, and ensuring a consistent experience across different regions. And then the last thing is by handling security, by handling requests to the edge. Potentially, security logic and data are kept away from the client side, enlarging the security of your application. So that's actually related to Superbase, like talking about edge functions in Superbase. And then the last thing we're going to talk about, which I think is the most important part, is actually how you can deploy your first Superbase edge function. So that's the most exciting part, if you ask me. And I will talk right now how you can deploy an edge function using Superbase. So there are a lot of videos actually that are showing that, but I just want to show it as well. Maybe you can learn something from this video as well. But the first, you need a couple of tools before you start, and you need like Node.js and npm packages, and you can download from here. You need to have Superbase CLI client, you need to have GitHub, you need to have a code editor, and you need to have, of course, a Superbase account, and of course, a Superbase project. So those are like the 6 requirements that you need to have in order to deploy your function. Um, so let me actually show you. So I cannot actually show you how you can install those, but let me show you. So first of all, you need Node.js in order for this to work. So please install your Node.js. I'm using Linux, so uh, I can show you, but it depends on your environment, right? It depends on what environment you're using, and I think it's self-explanatory how to install Node. If you don't know how to do it, there are a lot of videos about how to do that in general. So I don't want to get into details about that. And then the other tool that you need is that after you install the Node.js, you need the npm packages, and the logic is installing Node and npm. So um, there is actually a documentation how to download and install Node.js and npm inside the npm docs, and this is basically how you can install the latest npm package, and then you can check which version you're running. And of course, there are different like managements for different like iOS or Linux or Windows. So, like I said, depends on your iOS that you're using. And then we have the Superbase COI. So the Superbase COI, if you search in Google or wherever search engine that you're using, um, you probably end up in this website, which is local developing with CLI, and then you need to click on Superbase CLI, and then when you click on that, you're going to end up in the Superbase GitHub CLI, and then when you are here, just click on releases, and then here when you're inside the releases, just click on the maybe not a pre-released, sorry, just click on the latest, because those are actually pre-releases, so those are like beta versions. So probably you don't need the beta version, you want the main version. So click on the latest and just click on the version number, and then when you click on the version number, currently of the recording of this video, it's this version number, and then just look for the one that you need. Like I said, I'm using Linux, so the one for me, and depends on your processor, I think, as well. So AMD, or you can have like ARMS as well processor. So mine actually is AMD. How you can get that in Linux? I think you need to run uname, and then M was the command. Yeah, I will show you in a bit. But then the number that you get is, if you get 8664, then you're running a AMD processor. So this is something that you need as well. Like I said, Git. I don't think it's like something that you need, but it's like recommended. And then here I forgot to actually wrote as well Docker, but you need Docker as well to install. And Docker, you can, because without Docker you cannot deploy a function. So you can install Docker if you go to this website over here. This is the website, and just click on, where is it? Probably you need the Docker desktop is the one that you need. Yeah, I think it's this one, Docker desktop, that you need. And then, yeah, it says here download for Linux, like I said, because I'm using Linux, but of course, download for your own OS that you're using, and then install it. And then, of course, you need a code editor to write your cloud function, sorry, edge function, and then of course you need the Superbase account, and then you need a Superbase project. So when you are ready with all those things, let me just show you how that looks in Superbase, because I'm going to switch my screen to my terminal. So I don't want to switch back to my browser. So for example, this is actually cloud function, oh sorry, edge functions that I have already deployed. I keep on talking about cloud functions because I'm used to, but we're talking about edge functions. And then if you click on deploy a new function, is actually you're going to get this like information. And if you haven't deployed anything, it will be here when you click on edge function. So actually, in order to get to the edge functions, go to your Superbase dashboard, and then on the left side click on edge functions, and then it will open this one. And probably you'll see, if you haven't uploaded any edge functions, you see this screen over here. And we're going to do exactly that, actually deploy our first edge function. And there are examples actually of edge functions as well. They're very good examples actually. Now, if you click over here, there's a lot of examples, like connect, like send an email, like connect a Slack bot, Stripe webhooks, Telegram bot. Like there's a lot of examples that you can check. Great. So let's jump into the terminal now, and let me show you how you can actually deploy your first edge function. Okay, so I'm in my terminal right now. As you said, this is the command if you're running iOS or like Mac or Linux. This is the command that you need to run in order to see which deb package you want to download. Like I said, if you have the same as me, then it's the RM one. Sorry, it's IMD one. Yeah. But then, so basically, this is the whole idea actually. If it returns this, like you see, my returns this, or something similar, then your system is IMD64. If it returns IMAir or AARch64 or something similar, then yours is ARM64. So this is the whole idea. Great. So let's actually move on. And let's talk about what you need. Like I said, you need Node and you also need npm. So if I write Node and then version, this is the current version of my Node package. And then if I write npm and then version, this is actually the version of my npm package. So like I said, make sure that you have those versions first. If you haven't, install them. Then make sure you have Docker. So if I write Docker version, this is the version that I currently have. Make sure that you have this as well. Test it. You should get some version of the Docker. Then the second thing is the Superbase version. So the next thing is the Superbase version. Again, make sure that you have installed Superbase. This is the version that I currently have. But of course, your version could be higher than mine. Depends when you're watching the video. But those are the four main things that you need. And now we can probably start to deploy our function. So actually, before we start deploying our function, there is another critical thing that I had actually difficulties when I was deploying my cloud function. So I actually had to add the user of the group to Docker, because Docker had issues. It was not. I had like error regarding to the Docker, and I had the error like that. I'll probably show you what was the error that I had. So I had this error. If you have some familiar, if you have like error like this one, this is permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker. daemon socket, uh, you can actually, what I did is actually add, so I wrote this command, which actually add my username. So my username will be Dimitri, for example, which is my name, or you can write it like that, and it will add uh, this username to Docker. Uh, and then what I did actually is I logged out from my computer and then logged in again in order for Docker to be able to add my name into the group, or else I didn't have the permissions. So this is something important. Like I said, if you have this error, make sure you did that. And then basically we're going to just follow the instructions that we have from Superbase that I showed you in their website. So the first command that you need to write is Superbase functions new, and in this particular case, the function that I'm going to deploy, it's called hello world. So just click enter. Of course, make sure that you are in the folder that you want to like create your functions. So in my case, it's CB and then Superbase. Sorry, it's CB, probably the one that I need to write. And then I would just click Superbase functions new hello world. And it's actually going to say that these functions already exist because I have already actually created. And then, but of course, it will be created for you. And then if I go over here and then just write Superbase and then write functions, like that, and then SL, you see the one created. So you see a folder created. So if I cd into this folder, uh, and I just SL, you have one file which is TS, which is TypeScript. So like I said, this is not JavaScript, this is TypeScript. And then I can nano it, and then I can just nano TS, and this is actually uh, the edge function. And it's simple edge function. You just say hello world, hello from functions, and then you have the name that we can supply, and the message that we're going to see is hello, and then wherever the name is. Great. So let's try to actually deploy this edge function right now. So in order to deploy it, just write this Superbase functions deploy hello world and then the project reference. So just click that. I copy and paste it from Superbase. It's nothing special. Just click that, and then you have to wait a little bit, and then it should be deployed. So it says deployed function, and then you can see the function that was deployed. And then to invoke your function, you can use a post API request, because it will create a webhook for your edge function. And to do that, and to call it, actually, you need to call. I'll call it with a curl request just from my terminal. This is the post. This is the URL of my particular um, edge functions that was created. So this is basically the webhook, and then the notification will be your anon key, and then the name you can supply, of course, data. I'll supply data, and this is functions. And when I call this, I should be able to get a response. So let me try to call this now. So when I call it, this is actually the response that I'm getting. So it says hello functions, and it says functions because I have wrote here functions. But of course, I can call it with some other name like Demeter, or whatever name it is. So that was everything that you need to know about functions, about edge functions. Please try to deploy your first edge functions, because there are a lot that we're going to cover in my YouTube channel about edge functions, like Stripe subscriptions, password recovery using Superbase, like connecting to external third parties like Google Authentication and Google Drive, or Spotify or anything that you can think of. So yeah, just let's say, do your homework and try to deploy your first edge function. And I hope I see you in the next video. But before you go, actually, thanks for watching this video. But please help me to reach 4,000 subscribers. And when I reach 4,000 subscribers, I actually have a surprise for every single subscriber that I have. I will shuffle them and I will do a live session and I'll announce the winner. And what will be the winner? The winner should be a subscribe to the channel, and the price is this one. It's a full flow swag actually. I want to give to one of my subscribers. Like I said, it will be a live session when I reach 4,000 subscribers. And this Slack is actually have a t-shirt, the same that you see over here. It has stickers and it has a mug. So it's pretty good mug that you can drink your coffee or tea or whatever you like to drink from it. And like I said, I will give this to one of my subscribers. So please subscribe to the channel. And also, I'll do a live session. So it should be in the live session when I reach 4,000 subscribers. And I'll just pick from wherever who is subscribed. And it is in the live session. And I pick a winner. So he or she can immediately DM me the address, and I can send this Slack box. So please subscribe to the channel to have a chance to win this amazing Slack box. I just want to say that the paid membership for YouTube is now open, so you can be a paid member to my YouTube channel, which means a lot. And thank you very much for all the people who are right now paid members to the channel.